Patricia, this is Travis. I thought I'd do a walkthrough of your plan. So basically, I wanted to describe how we ended up to the plan at this stage as we did. So we took the first constant that we knew, and we knew that that was the barbecue grill here. This barbecue grill, what we did is we brought in let's go to utilities. We brought in a person. I'll just put a person here so you can kind of grasp what kind of space you're dealing with. So there's enough space here. We made this concrete pad here with enough space for someone to stand comfortably, have plenty of room to step away from the heat, and to grill properly. So that's that. Now next up, what we did is we actually had the yard. Let's take this whole thing basically. We kind of had it almost in line centered with the walkway. And that didn't work because with your size of a backyard, we had to create room for that shed. So once we migrated everything over, that allowed just enough room for us to put this shed here. And we felt after testing numerous locations within the backyard to place this shed, we dragged it over here. We tried every scenario with the shed. We rotated it in every way possible, just to see how it would fit and where it would fit best. And it turns out that this area right here in the corner is the perfect area for the shed. This shed in particular is, it says it's 8 feet. Let me show you. It's about 8 feet. Let me drag this out. This shed is about 8 feet roughly by, if we come in here, 8 feet by 7 feet, or 7'2" ish. So you could even make this like an 8 by 8 pretty effectively. You can make this an 8 by 10 if you'd like. I think we have about, well, I guess 8 by 8 would be ideal. If you find a shed, we can model up the shed in there to be exact, and then everything else, all these other things back here will follow suit. So what we did is we did initially have stepping stones around all of the, kind of around the perimeter of each planter. So I'll show you from a top view. So we did have, let me make a big yellow line so you can see it. We did have a bunch of stepping stones around each planter, and what happened is the yard started to look extraordinarily busy. So we took those out, and what we did is we figured out that if you have this planter bed and the inside space on that planter bed is 3 feet exactly, that's an arm's reach. So what we did is we, to keep the yard from being not busy, we figured that you could walk amongst the yard here on this patio and also the backside. And then if you need to, you can also walk a little bit behind here on this gravel. And the gravel would not be a very unstable type gravel. So again, you could walk there, you could walk this whole distance back here. And then if you need to, you could also kind of traverse through here and hit this corner of the planter bed too. That would be pretty seamless for you to do so. And what it did is it created a nice cleaner yard that allows us to put plantings in front of everywhere here and not just fill the yard up with tons of squares. When we had squares and we had concrete walkways, the whole thing just seemed very sterile. It seemed very concrete-like, and it seemed unnatural, to be honest. So when your yard has, I'll view it this way with you, we can change the time. So let's bring it to noon. That's how your yard mostly is at noon during this season. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see 5, like this is the area in your yard in the afternoons that will have the most shade. So that's why we placed that patio seating wall or patio seating area there. That way you have the most shade. Even 6 p.m., which is sunset, will still offer you pretty much the most shade while being back there in a comfortable format. So I'll move this back to 4 o'clock because I think it shows the shadows nicely. So that's why our planter bed works there. We chose this kind of setup because if we had one that faces this way, if someone is sitting in this particular seat here, it means that they kind of have the worst view. They get the sun in their face, and they can't tell what's coming up behind them, and it's very awkward. So we had that rotated so it's comfortable for all people, and from the view from the house, it looks welcoming and inviting. This patio is a nice size, actually. It's almost 14 feet by almost 10 feet. So almost 10 by 14, which is a really nice patio. We did have the planter beds the same color as your surrounding walls, but we had this in a split face block that was shown to us as similar to the photos you gave us as an example. Now, we did this at a comfortable seating height. This is usually about 18 inches high to 22 inches high. So let's say you have more people over and they're visiting. People can sit on this, or you can sit on these walls while you garden these areas. I think we added these plants in the back because they offer a nice backdrop to the wall. But I know you kind of wanted to keep things minimal as far as the plants here, so we can always select those and remove them and just keep things clean if you'd like. Now, we did remember, basically the entire yard is concrete. Like, we have concrete pads here, 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 and here. But we had these other little precast concrete stepping stones here, this entire route, basically, like this whole way down the side yard. That way it saves you costs. And we also had that same color behind your planter beds here. So I hope that helps. We did add one plant here just to kind of break it up a little bit. And with your planter beds, we have, we'll start with the lower areas first. I know you mentioned that you love sedum. We have these sedum right here. They're called Autumn Joy sedum. As you can see, they're really nice. The leaves on them are really cool, and so are the blooms. They have a pretty long bloom time, and they're relatively hardy. Over here we have these. These are called a wall germander or an upright germander. They smell incredible, and they do a lot better than lavender, but they still kind of give off that lavender appearance. There's plenty of these plants. I think it's important for you to view as placeholders. We can hone in on those for you if you'd like. I'll walk you through these plants in the planter beds. We wanted to give you a lot of color, a lot of different bloom times, and things that'll work in your favor like that are easygoing too, and just function well without too much maintenance. So we have this plant in the center called a gopher plant, and that's because in real life it looks a lot like a succulent. It's very hardy, very easygoing, and it's kind of a succulent that deals with our freezes really well here too. Behind that we have these little guys, which are called tickseed coreopsis. There's also a few others that we like that are yellow coreopsis. They flower really nice. They're going to accent left and right of that pretty nicely. As a statement plant in the in kind of each of the main pockets of these L's in this planter bed, we have a big red penstemon, which is going to give you a little bit more height, as you can see, a little bit more color. And then we have different sedums throughout here too. So we have these ones that are dragon's blood, a stonecrop sedum. These do really well in our area. Then we have these lime green ones, which are called an Angelina sedum. That's kind of what they look like. They're very cool. Then we have over here, we have creeping phlox. These things just add a nice pop of color, and they flower at a different time than anything else. So we kept these planter beds pretty simple, but they're also really colorful, as you can see. And I think the colors we chose them for a reason, so they would all go together. None of the colors really clash. Now, when you come back here, we can also crank the lights all the way down, and you can see where the landscape lights happen. We have your light under there for the patio, and that's going to cover this area pretty well. But we put 3 lights on each planter, one on each face of this, and one also cast a little bit of light onto the patio, so there's lighting where you can see, and it's just a little bit of luminance here. It's nothing like overwhelming. That's how it would look. We backdrop this wall with 2 wall wash lights here. I think it just, when you see things at night, it's going to kind of show you back there. It's going to show you if someone's hiding back there. It's going to showcase the depth in which those planter beds stick out from the back wall. And we also put one back here so you can kind of see towards the shed, and it'll throw a little bit of ambient light towards this fence and all throughout here. So that's our plan. That's what we kind of developed for you. We tried tons of different shapes of planter beds, different sizes. We tried tons of different ways to get walkways here. We let me copy and paste this. We tried breaking things up a little bit, like so, and no matter how we did it, things either looked a little busy or a little bit too, just like we're trying too hard. So this is kind of the format that worked. For instance, if we break this up a little more, you can see things kind of start to look a little bit busier. So I am very open to any improvements or any changes you'd like to make to this plan, and I hope this really helps you understand why we're doing this and why we basically came to this design at this point. And I really hope you love it. My team hopes you love it. And we're, at a stage where we could give you pricing from here. We could make any changes. We could easily, like on our end, change it out with one plant in an instant, if that makes sense. So don't be shy with revisions you'd like to make on this. We'll also send you a whole array of different pictures so you can see this from every angle, from different sun forecasts, different things like that. Hope you love it. Thank you so much.